Hello, students, and namaste, everyone. I am Dhaval sir, and our today's topic is from your standard ninth literature part, unit number 10, Kathmandu. Right, so first of all, in this lecture, I'll be giving you the introduction of the chapter, then I'll give you the brief summary of this chapter, okay, and the remaining part of the chapter we'll do in the next lecture, okay. So, first of all, about the writer. Right, the writer of this chapter is Vikram Sheth, and this chapter is an extract from Heaven Lake. Okay, so the writer Vikram Sheth came from China, right, to India, uh, hitchhiking via Tibet and Nepal, right? So now hitchhiking means what, right? So to travel by securing free rides from passing vehicles. We have seen like this, lift, right? By taking free rides. So that is known as hitchhiking. Okay, so he had gone to China, and from there he reached uh, India via Tibet and Nepal. Okay, and he has written about it in his book titled Heaven Lake. Right, so the book is Heaven Lake, and this chapter is an extract. Extract means a small part from that book. Okay, so in this extract, as I said, extract means a small part. Okay, from the book, we get to know about his visit to Kathmandu, and as you all might be knowing, Kathmandu is the capital of Nepal. Okay, fine. So now we'll move further. In this chapter, the writer Vikram Sheth describes his visit to Kathmandu. Okay, where he visited two temples. Okay, one was the Pashupatinath temple, which is a pilgrimage for the Hindus. Okay, and the other one was the uh, Bodhanath temple, which is a holy place for the Buddhist people. Okay, so description about these two temple is given. Then it is said that at the Pashupatinath temple, uh, entry was restricted. Right, entry was restricted to Hindus. That means at the Pashupatinath temple, only the Hindus or the Hindu people were allowed. Rest of the people were not allowed. Okay, so there was a lot of chaos. Chaos means confusion. Okay, so so as I said, chaos means confusion, a state of confusion. Why there was a state of confusion? Because there were a lot of people, right, like priests, tourists, pilgrims, and also there were animals who were moving together, okay, in a group or a flock, right? So it was overcrowded. Okay, and over there the holy river Bagmati, which flows near the temple, was being polluted by the washerwomen. Okay, who were washing clothes in it, and the children who were bathing in it. Okay, and also by the residents who were throwing dirt, means throwing dry uh, withered flowers. Right, we have the uh, custom of throwing the dried flowers in the river. Right, so the residents or the local people, they were throwing dry withered flowers, okay, in it. So this way the river Bagmati was being polluted. Okay, and small shrines uh, could be seen, okay, onto the stone platform. And it was said that when the platform would emerge completely, okay, then the goddess would emerge out of it and end the Kali Yuga. Right, so shrines you might have seen, which is at the top of the temple. Right, so what I said, that is small shrines could be seen, okay, onto the stone platform. And it was said, or it is a belief over there, okay, that when the platform would emerge completely, okay, that means it will get totally emerged, okay, or submerged in the water. Okay, the goddess will come out and she will end the Kali Yuga. Okay, that is the period which is going on. So the scene at the Bodhnath temple was exactly opposite to the scene at the Pashupatinath temple. Why? Because it was a huge white colored dome surrounded by the outer road. Right here in the picture, if we can see, okay, this is Pashupatinath temple, okay, and here we can see, yeah, see this white color dome it is, and you can see one or two people also moving around. So it is a huge dome, okay, of the Bodhnath temple, and along it there is a road, okay, where people can walk. Fine. So it was a huge white colored dome surrounded by outer road, and the place was quiet and calm. Right, there was total calmness over there, and there was a Tibetan market outside the temple where the Tibetan refugees were selling bags, garments, and jewelry. Now, refugees means what, right? So the people who belong to a different country, but they have come and taken shelter in our country. So those people are known as refugees. Okay. Usually in the winter season, we see the Tibetan people. They come and sell the sweaters and the jackets and everything, right? Okay. So next, what we'll see is there is Kathmandu. What the writer is said is that Kathmandu has a variety of things to offer, right? So what all things can be seen? It has a religious sanctity. That means sanctity means a holy or a sacred place. Okay, it is a business hub and a tourist destination. Business hub means there are a lot of businessmen or the people who are doing business at Kathmandu. Okay, so therefore it is known as a hub. Okay, and it is a tourist destination. That means a lot of tourist people can also be seen over there. Fine. There are shops selling postcards. Okay, then different antiques, chocolates, then imported cosmetics, camera film rolls. Camera film rolls means in the olden days there were not digital cameras. There were cameras in which a film, right, round film will be there, which had to be inserted, and from that the pictures will be clicked. Okay, so if the pictures are clicked in camera, it will be printed on the film. Okay, so those are known as camera film rolls, and utensils are also available at that market. Okay, and a variety of sounds, okay, could be heard in the streets by different people, right? The music uh, of the radios, the honking of the cars, okay, then ringing of the cycle bell, okay, then more sounds of the cow as they were obstructed by the bicycles passing by, and the screaming vendors selling their things. Right, you have seen the people selling their things in the market, they shout very loudly. Okay, so such kind of noise could be seen in that market, and the writer, that is Vikram Sheth, ate a marzipan. So marzipan is a kind of a sweet. Okay, then he ate a corn, okay, which was roasted on the charcoal fire. Okay, usually we corn means bhutta. Okay, so charcoal means koilsa or koila. So it was roasted on that. Okay, and garnished with lemon juice, salt, and chili powder, and drank Coca Cola to digest it. Okay, so this is about the writer, and he bought some love story comics and a Reader's Digest too. Okay, so these were the books which were bought by the writer Vikram Sheth. Then on his way back to Delhi, okay, so he had spent these days in Nepal. After that he had to return back to his home at Delhi. So on his way back to Delhi, he had considered going by an adventurous route. That means he had thought that he will go by the road. Okay, and he would have some adventures over there. So he had thought that it might be a bus or a train journey till Patna. Okay, and then a boat ride up the Ganga river till Allahabad. So he had thought about this journey, right? And from there it would be again a boat journey on the Yamuna River to Delhi. Right. So this was the way he had thought that he'll be back to Delhi from Nepal. But as he was very tired, he gave up his idea and he took a direct flight from Kathmandu to New Delhi the next day. Okay, so this is how the writer Vikram Sheth uh, had planned, that is to go back from Kathmandu to Delhi. Okay, and then again he is giving the description that is outside his hotel. He saw a flute seller in Kathmandu, right? Then he held a pole of which, that means the writer is talking about the flute seller. He had a pole in which you might have seen there are so many flutes. Okay, so he had a pole out of which many flutes were popping out, right, like the thorns on a porcupine's body. You might have seen the animal named porcupine. Okay, in the similar way, this flute seller was there who had a pole, and outside, that means on that pole there were so many different flutes popping out. Okay, and the men stood quietly and would take out a different flute, play it for a couple of minutes, and replace it with another one. Okay, so once in a while, he would sell one of them mindlessly. That means he would keep on playing different flutes for selling his flute, but rarely some people or rarely anyone would go to purchase him that flute from him. Okay, and but he was not thinking about all those things, and he kept on playing the flute meditatively, right? Okay, he was lost in his own thoughts and he was continuously playing the flute, and he was unlike other hawkers. Okay, who screamed to sell their things, right? Because other hawkers and sellers were continuously shouting, but this flute seller was uh, playing his flute with a calmness and peace of mind. Okay, and the writer got attracted to the music of his flute. Okay, and usually the flutes are played in many regions of the world, and they vary in appearance, name, and the music they produce, right? So flutes are very common, which is seen in many parts of the world, but different places have different shape and different names given to the flute, and they produce different sounds. Okay, so the sound of the flute usually resembles the human voice as it is played by exhaling the breath, and its music also pauses when a person inhales a breath, right? So it was a very wonderful scene for the writer and he got very much attracted towards it. Okay, right, so this was the story about the writer's visit to the capital city of Nepal, that is the Kathmandu. Okay, and with this our explanation or the summary for this chapter gets over. Okay, and I'll also end my lecture over here, and I thank you everyone for watching my video. Okay, so the remaining part of the chapter, that is the line by line explanation of the chapter, will be done in the next lecture. In this lecture we have just covered the introduction and the summary. So I thank you everyone for watching my video.